The year is 2025. Humanity, in its infinite wisdom and hubris, has turned its gaze outwards, towards the stars, dreaming of colonizing new worlds, while neglecting the fragile one it calls home. Little did we know, the universe had a cruel lesson in store. It began subtly. The sun, a celestial constant in our sky for millennia, seemed to dim, its light flickering like a dying ember. Scientists, baffled and alarmed, scrambled for answers, their instruments buzzing with anomalous readings. Theories ranged from unprecedented solar flares to the impossible, a disruption of the very fabric of space-time. Then, the unthinkable happened. The sun, our life-giver, the anchor of our solar system, vanished. Not gradually, not gracefully, but in an instant. One moment it was there, bathing the earth in its warm glow, the next, it was gone, leaving behind an empty void where it once reigned supreme. Panic seized the globe as the chilling realization dawned upon us. We were alone in the cold, unforgiving vacuum of space. But the true horror was yet to come. For we were about to experience something far more terrifying than darkness. 80 minutes of agonizing suspense, knowing that the light we so desperately craved would not return. As if on cue, 80 minutes to the second after the sun's disappearance, the Earth was plunged into an abyss of darkness. The transition was abrupt, merciless, and total. Day turned to night in an instant, catching billions off guard. Cities, once glittering constellations of human activity, were snuffed out, their artificial lights no match for the all-encompassing blackness that had enveloped the planet. The temperature, no longer buffered by the sun's radiant heat, began to plummet at an alarming rate. The once familiar warmth of the sun, taken for granted for so long, was now a distant memory, replaced by a bone-chilling cold that seeped into the very marrow. Panic, raw and primal, gripped the hearts of billions. Section 4. The day science stood still. The disappearance of the sun was not merely an astronomical anomaly, it was a scientific impossibility. Our understanding of physics, of the fundamental laws that govern the universe, crumbled in the face of this cosmic absurdity. Theories were debunked as quickly as they were proposed, leaving scientists grasping at straws, their equations rendered meaningless in the face of the unknown. The sun's gravitational pull, the invisible tether that held Earth in its orbital dance, had also vanished. According to all known laws of physics, this should have sent our planet hurtling off into the cold abyss of interstellar space. Yet inexplicably, Earth remained suspended in its orbit, as if frozen in time, a silent prisoner of some unknown cosmic force. Section 5. The Great Panic. Chaos reigned as humanity grappled with the unimaginable. The sudden and complete disruption of their world, the loss of their primary source of light and warmth, the breakdown of communication networks, and the uncertainty of their fate. It was a recipe for disaster. Governments, caught off guard and ill-prepared, struggled to maintain order, their emergency broadcasts drowned out by the cacophony of fear and despair. Survival, once a given, became the sole objective. Food, water, and shelter, once readily available, were now precious commodities, jealously guarded and fiercely fought over. The thin veneer of civilization, so painstakingly constructed over millennia, began to crack and crumble, exposing the raw, primal instincts that lurked beneath the surface. Section 6. Dawn of a new reality. Then, as suddenly and inexplicably as it had vanished, the sun reappeared. Exactly 24 hours after it had blinked out of existence, it blazed back to life, flooding the Earth with its warm, familiar light. The darkness that had held our planet hostage for what felt like an eternity lifted, revealing a world transformed. The temperature, which had plummeted to life-threatening lows, began to rise, slowly at first, then steadily, until it reached its normal, comforting level. The ice that had begun to form on lakes and rivers melted, the snow that had blanketed the land receded, and the world, bathed once more in the sun's golden glow, breathed a collective sigh of relief. Section 7. The Aftermath. The sun's return, while met with immense relief, marked not an end, but a beginning. The 24 hours of darkness had irrevocably altered humanity's perception of its place in the cosmos. The sun, once a celestial constant, was now a source of both comfort and fear, a stark reminder of our vulnerability, our utter dependence on the whims of the universe. The world, once divided by borders, ideologies, and petty differences, was now united by a shared experience, a collective trauma that transcended language, culture, and creed. The 24 hours of darkness had forced humanity to confront its own mortality, its insignificance in the grand scheme of the cosmos.